We are between breakfast and lunch, so basically brunch. So let's talk about eggs. Lisa Steele is a fifth-generation chicken keeper and founder of the popular blog Fresh Eggs Daily. Sometimes she's referred to as the queen of the coop. Lisa traded in a Wall Street career for a life on the farm in Maine. In the Fresh Eggs Daily Cookbook, Lisa shares delicious egg recipes from the traditional to the unexpected.
Yeah, today we're making one of my favorite recipes for my cookbook. It's super easy. We're going to make eggs baked in butternut squash.
I would have never thought to do that. So, all right, how do we get started?
So you're going to want to take your squash and cut it into about 3/4 to 1 inch sections. And then with a spoon, you're going to want to scoop out all the seeds and guts and everything. Then just put your rings onto a baking sheet with some parchment paper, a little olive oil, salt, and pepper.
Okay.
And then you bake them for about 25 minutes at 425 because you want to, just kind of soften up the squash and all that. And the squash is going to take longer to cook than the eggs. So then once they're done, well, actually, I can show you. How about that? So
That's good. And I hope you didn't hear that, Lisa, but my stomach just grumbled because I'm like, oh, this sounds so good.
It's super good. So then you're just going to break an egg into each of your rings. And then you're going to put it back in the oven for about 8 minutes. You're going to have to kind of play with where your sweet spot is, how well you want your egg cooked.
Yes.
The nice thing about eggs is, if you like a firm yolk, you can cook it longer, or a little bit runny yolk. I like it a little runny. Put them back in the oven for about 8 minutes. And then when they come out,
do you have to put any like oil or anything underneath it? Oh, you put it on the parchment.
I put it on the parchment, yeah, and then I just drizzle oil on the butternut squash and then on the egg, and you can salt and pepper them again. Then they come out and they're all like this. You can eat the skin and everything because it's nice and soft. And then I just like to do a little bit of grated Parmesan and some baby sage leaves and a little more salt and pepper. So beautiful if you're having people over and someone's vegetarian, or you just, you want to cut back a little bit on the red meat you're eating. This is such a great dinner option. And again, super simple, within half an hour, you can have dinner and you can scale it up as much as you want. You can fit as many rings on the baking sheet as you can.
I love that. I mean, egg is poultry. We know this, but like, we also love that we're all trying to get healthier. And I'm trying to think of ways to have a breakfast that doesn't involve like oats or something that isn't always the most healthy. Now, oats are good, but butternut squash is obviously better.
And and it's not bread, so if someone is cutting carbs as well, it's something that's really hearty without carbs.
Yeah, especially with the skin on it. I like that.
Right.
I love this recipe. I'm telling you, I'm going to try this tomorrow morning. But what about the rest of the recipes in your book? It's all about eggs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, all about eggs for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, in cocktails, any time of day. Eggs are so versatile and you can do so much with them. I love to use different herbs and spices and cheeses. And you could have scrambled eggs every morning and they're going to taste completely different depending on what you season them with, which is great.
I love that. I've definitely got to get my hands on your book because eggs are I feel like they're the perfect food. But I also do love them in a cocktail. We make a gin fizz in this house and you got to use that. But before we talk about cocktails or anything else, I got to ask you about brown eggs. They're all the rage. You see them everywhere. You even pay more for them. Is there something with the color that really matters? Are they really that different than white eggs?
No, they're exactly the same on the inside.
I knew it.
Yeah, it just depends on the breed of chicken and the nutrition in the egg and the freshness. Well, obviously the freshness depends on how fresh it is, but the nutrition depends on what the chicken's eating. So if you have chickens out in the grass eating all kinds of things, if they lay a blue egg or a green egg or a brown egg or a white egg, they're all going to be the same inside. There's no difference. It's just a marketing ploy to get more money for what people perceive as fresh farm raised eggs.
I love it, Lisa. Busting some myths this morning.
Busting all the myths.
I love it. So, okay, you did mention though how to find out if the egg is fresh. How do I know if an egg is fresh? I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah. So if you actually are at home, you can just drop an egg into a glass of water. And if it sits on the bottom, it's nice and fresh. And if it, floats or starts to rise up off the bottom, it's not quite as fresh. But if you're in the store and you want to pick the freshest eggs, you want to look at the end of the egg carton, and there's a 3-digit code from 001 to 365. And that corresponds to the day of the year. So you want to pick the highest number, which is going to be the date closest to today. So today's like what, March something. So with 3060, we're like at day 75 or something like that. So if you see a carton that says 068, those eggs are only about 10 days old. So that's a quick and easy way at the grocery store just to pick the freshest eggs.
Oh my gosh, Lisa, you are blowing my mind today. I cannot wait
all
to
the
share
secrets.
all these things.